Martin Byakuleka ng'ono Omuwiwamagezi Owokuntiko wa Kyagulanyi Center mu Robert Bobi Wine Nupu People Power ng'asinzira wali mu ggwanga lya America Burlington. Gwe tuli naye olunaku olwaleero nga tulina ensonga zagenda okuttaanyaako ez'enkolagana ya Uganda ko n'eggwanga lya America. Era Kyagulanyi alina kukola ki era bannayuganda mulina kukola ki okulaba ng'enkolagana ya Uganda ne America esazibwamu ebyaddala. Bino ebiriwo mbuno banka y'ensi yonna yagambye tena kuddamu kukola Mwami Museveni nsimbi naye ate waliwo eddiiru Mwami Museveni z'akolera Abamerika enkusifu eri mu ggwanga lya Democratic Republic of Congo ate nga Museveni yalina emmundu yajja okusobola bakolera ddiiru ezo Abamerika bafunemu bye baagala ate nga Kyagulanyi Center mu Robert Bobi Wine talina mmundu zigenda bakolera ebyo beetaaga mu ggwanga lya Congo okufuna ebyobugagga ebinene bye beetaagayo bye bajjayo nga bakolagana ne Mwami Museveni. N'olwekyo kikyogenda okukola kikyolina okukola gwe Munnayuganda okulaba ng'enkolagana ya Mwami Museveni ne America n'ebyobugagga by'e Congo mwe kolaganira ennyo omukwano omungi ogubatta ogubasaza mu kabu bisalamu era ne Mwami Museveni n'akumirwa ddala bana kyabwadde 15 wadde olwataano wadde Simon ne wadde bagimuyisiriza mu nkukutu okugimuwa nga tayise mu matendera emituufu ogenda kukola ki okulaba nga bino bikomera ddala ate Mwami Museveni ayongera okuba frustrated government esobola okugwa ennume y'ekigo olwo Kyagulanyi Center mu Robert Bobi Wine alayirenga president w'eggwanga Uganda omulonde. Byakuleka Martin ono omusajja mugezigezi nnyo ku mutendera gwa nsi yonna era ng'akozeko n'amawanga nga Germany president chancellor waayo akozeko n'amawanga nga America n'amawanga amalala amanene akoze n'abakulembeze ab'enjawulo ku nsonga ez'okwaŋŋana amagezi ku nkolagana z'ensi era ku ngeri abadictator oba bannakyemalira gye bayinza okusuulibwamu gavumenti ne zisaanirawo ddala ne bafuna bannansi abakulembeze ababakkiririzaamu abakulembeze abawa ekitiibwa abakulembeze abawa eddembe ly'obuntu ekitiibwa era nga gwe mulamwa gwaliko mu kitabo kya National Platform. Nno olwaleero okkalira tuula wansi tutandike ebigambo ne musajja mukulu Martin Byakuleka.
Well, I was initially with Cloud, the Common League of Ugandans in the Diaspora, when People Power gained steam. And in Cloud, we had built chapters around the world. And when People Power gained currency, after a few weeks when I woke up, I found that most of my members had gone. And they had joined People Power. So I said, what's going on? I also packed my bags and joined People Power. But as a matter of fact, in essence, Cloud is still existing, and we do a lot of work, especially interlocuting between Ugandan activists and foreign actors. But most of our young people are in the People Power, and we serve them wherever they are. I give a lot of advice to the leadership of People Power and NUP. You can call me an advisor.
All right, so you are, just as I mentioned to our viewers, you are a consultant on international development. Now, I want to ask you this question. First of all, the diaspora community has been very influential in the current struggle in Uganda. Not just today, though I mentioned current, but there is a difference between the recent past and back in the days, 2001. You can see a difference on how the diaspora is participating in the politics of Uganda. So, what do you think about the international community, the participation of international community towards the development of Uganda and the all change in the struggle that we are experiencing in the recent past?
That question is very good, but quite broad. You are speaking about three actors. You are speaking about those who want change, international actors, and the government of Uganda. And you brought up a triangle. And now you want to ask about the impact of foreign actors.
Countries like United States.
Yes, in this relationship.
France, yes.
Yeah. Now, critically, Uganda is not a rich country. We get a lot of our money from external actors. Some we call them bilateral, and others we call them multilateral. The example is if you are dealing with United States of America, that is a bilateral relationship. If you are dealing with the World Bank, That is a multilateral relationship. Now, those people, before they deal with you, they have interests. Those interests are critical to their own mission. They have a mission. For example, the governments of United States and governments of Western Europe, they want a country in Africa that can help with their interests. For example, they like dealing with the Congo, getting minerals from the Congo. And while they get minerals from the Congo, they want to make the whole of that region pacified, so they can exploit the minerals in peace.
Right.
They want to eat in peace. So Uganda does a good job of making sure that Western governments eat in peace, while in Congo and all those other countries.
So you want to mean that they are supporting the current regime in the country?
You are getting ahead of yourself. Now, they like Uganda because Uganda has a strong army that can enable them to eat in peace. So they like the regime which controls that army. They like it very much. America, European countries, and the World Bank, and even IMF. So, when you look at that, then you interrogate their relationship. Now, you find out that whatever that regime in Uganda wants, these people will give easily, because Uganda is doing their bidding. Okay? Now, then you find us who want change. And we understand the relationship and understand that without these guys, Uganda may not be having enough money. So let us impact the relationship so the money which comes to Uganda can reduce. So we start bombarding them. And we say these people are bad, you know, the human rights, they abuse human rights, they torture people, they do all sorts of things. Then those guys, they listen to us. But it's their prerogative to decide whether to stop the money or ignore us. Unfortunately, for most of the time, they have ignored us. That's the truth you should know. I think people don't know that, but they ignore us most of the time.
Is it because of your failure to have lobbyists who can go and talk to them, or
No, because of their interests.
which you cannot
Their
give out?
their interests come first. How can we give them out? Can we pacify the Congo? Does Bobi Wine have an army? Does Byakuleka have an army? Don't have. Museveni is the one who has the army.
Right.
So they are happy to deal with him. Now when you go and report, Museveni killed the people on the 18th and 19th, they see the tapes, they see the video, they see the cars running around and people shooting. That is so bad. But then they go back to their interest. I remember there's a friend of mine in Germany, and me and him, we used to do a lot of work with the Germans. People around Chancellor Merkel and all those people, we used to do a lot of work. And we talked enough that we thought that Germany would be with Ugandans when it came to the big steal of the elections. But with all that talking, still Chancellor Merkel turned around and congratulated Museveni for having won the elections. So these guys, the Germans, they knew about the steal. They were well seized of the steal, the big steal that Museveni did in the early this year. But they slapped us in the face.
So in your view, who is to blame for all that? The international community recognizes the government of President Museveni and not the one of Honorable Robert Chagulanyi, who today in the conference we just had recently, he said he's the president of the country, but he's never been recognized by the international community.
Yeah, you see, the international community is structured in such a way that relations are between countries. They are not between a country and individuals. So, for example, when Honorable Chagulanyi comes here, he may not be received by... Well, for example, in this conference we just had here, you can invite someone from American government to come and attend. They don't deal with you. They deal with the country to country.
Right.
Yeah. So that's the problem right there. It's complex. So when you complain, you use what we call good officers.
Right.
People who know people. So we go, we talk to the senators. Senators are easier to talk to than congressmen. And they sit on the committees, foreign relations. Then they may advise the government that, hey, don't deal with this guy. He's really a murderer. We do not want American funds to go to a guy who is raping democracy. That sort of thing. And at times we succeed. In some instances we succeed. We have gotten people from Uganda barred from flying.
Right.
You know, the most notorious we did, we barred him.
Yeah,
We barred him. There is nothing to hide there. And then the others also, they are on the list. We have finished them. So at times we succeed.
Right.
But that is when issues are more of outside the executive and within the legislatures. For example, if it is a matter of the Congress,
right,
we succeed. If it's a matter of White House, it becomes more difficult. Because the White House has the real power. The Congress has the residual power.
Right.
Yes.
All right, sure. You know, you've talked so good about that, and I'm sure mostly our viewers are understanding the key principles why and how the international community operates. And because this is the question that people have been asking.
Yes.
We don't see people power working hand in hand with the United States government. We don't see people power. And that's what people have been missing for all this time. But, you know, you've talked about that. But let me ask you this question. Today we have a problem of politicians, so-called politicians who would just talk and never act. So, to you, what are the pitfalls of politicking in the struggle? Right now, was what we've seen so far, people fighting against each other, and that is affecting what members of People Power Movement and, of course, Honorable Kyagulanyi's team from succeeding. So, what are the pitfalls, according to you, that are now affecting the struggle?
Well, when people transition from being activists to politicians, they open up themselves to a lot of dynamics, controversies. An activist has a business, has a mission,
right,
has a vision, has means to follow up on that mission. The politician is playing. It's like soccer. It's a game. He's playing. He's playing the game of survival, political survival. Now, such a person is amenable to being corrupted. You can't corrupt the activist.
Right.
In fact, most activists are okay. They have some money. Because before you come into activism, you must be able to survive as an individual. But the politician, not so much.
Right.
The politician has to depend on funding from some political force. You see? Now, this opens them to a lot of challenges. Being bought and persuaded to think in ways they are originally not thinking about, you know.
Do you see that happening in the current
Yeah, absolutely. Especially in our countries where we have no generic or I should say no original sources of money. For example, I have an education. And from my education, even if I have no legs, I can still earn a lot of money.
Right.
And tomorrow I will do, so even if I'm chased from somewhere, I will still earn money.
Right.
You understand? But people whose roots are not yet deep cannot be good activists. Because they will be easily, if you chase him from there, you find he can't survive.
Right.
So they will change sides and do funny things. They may even stay with you, but they will be spying on you.
And that's what recently we had Honorable Robert Chagulanyi mentioning that
he's spot on.
The number of spies.
Yeah, he's spot on. Of course.
Friend.
Yeah, he's spot on. But of course, we must be careful not also to buy into narratives of confusers. I'll give you an example. There's someone who saw my nose, the shape of my nose. You see, it's not like yours.
Yes, right, absolutely.
So he said, this nose is pointed. This man looks like Sejusa. This man must be part of Museveni's people. So this is the ignorance of our people. So when they look at someone like me, for example, I'm not saying I am a spy, no. But if they look at somebody like me, some of them may say,
right.
Or you're Mulabi. You see? So there are issues there. But so some ignorant people have narratives which they sell out of ignorance. But again, we have real spies.
Right.
Yes. And what happens in a real struggle? Because I think we don't have a struggle yet. That I can tell you. A lot of people are still young. They don't know what the struggle is. No. In a real struggle, if you are a spy, and we know that you are one, you don't stay for long. Do you understand that?
I'm sure.
Yes. So, and I think the time to start the real struggle has come.
Do you think now we have started seeing these conferences coming up, the diaspora community coming together? Do you think that has an impact on what to think about the future of the struggle, that now people picking up the idea of what the struggle should be?
Apparently, the real strugglers may not even be coming to the meeting. They may not be coming to the meeting.
Speaking of that, do you think, according to you, that maybe the people who want to see change in Uganda, to be specific, do not know the mission of why the struggle exists? First of all, what is that mission you think that people should be now following? What is that mission that people should be understanding for this struggle that people are expressing right now?
You see, in the case of Uganda, when you say people, we have to be careful. There is what I call the Walala class. Yeah. They have no principle at all. Walala class. And that Walala class is the biggest.
Right.
And then we have some funny politicians who play to the gallery of Walala politicians or activists. Right. And then we have the serious ones. And these serious ones are everywhere. They are in NRM, they are in UPC, they are in DP, they are in FDC. That's why you find some of us, we have friends everywhere.
Right.
I like to have more friends from NRM, for example. Because I know they are suffering a lot, but they can't talk. The military, for example. There are people in the military of Uganda who are suffering. Generals who have no power. You know, your country has generals, but when the real general is the driver who drives him when he's sitting behind is the real general. And here he has nothing.
What's that? Could you explain more about that?
Yeah, for example, in Uganda, power is, can you speak to the president? Can you speak to the president?
Are you asking me?
No, I mean, that's the power.
Right.
In Uganda. If you can speak to the president, you have power. So you find the driver of the general can go outside and call directly and say, Muzi, we are buying cigarettes. Do you understand? But the general cannot even speak to the president. He needs an appointment for about a month. It will take him about a month to speak to the president. So, going back to what we were talking about. Yes.
Tribe.
A few men came and grabbed the state of Uganda. The state is what an ordinary person calls the government. They grabbed it. You see, the state has power to do things.
Right.
When you have the ability to make A do what he would rather not do under normal circumstances, then you, B, you have power over A. You want me to repeat that?
Absolutely.
If I can make you do what you would ordinarily not do, then I have power over you. So the state can make you do what you don't want to do. Tell you pay taxes, and you pay taxes. But do you like to pay taxes?
Absolutely. I would say, just like the people who are watching us right now,
Yes.
I think somebody say yes because we want to have better infrastructure, we want to have better health.
No, most
That
people
goes back to that.
most people don't want to pay taxes. Even here in America, you see the big companies, they don't pay taxes. They don't like, they dodge, they keep dodging. You go and research and see how much the man who went to the space has paid. About 10,000. Actually, he got a tax refund.
Yep.
So you can imagine. So that is the issue right there. They hijack the state not to do what the public wants. Because you have said pay tax to build roads.
Right.
Now that's using the state for public functions.
Right.
No, these hijacked the state to do private interest. So they are using our parliament, our judiciary, and the executive to do their own interest, not the interest of the country. And this is very sad, because look at Uganda. You are relatively younger. That country is just in reverse gear. It's just regressing. Look at the roads. Look at the health. Look at the schools. And talking of the schools, I'm sorry I meander. This is where sometimes I think about Mr. Museveni and say, does this man love Uganda or he hates it? Because I remember in the days of Idi Amin, I was young, but there was a minister called Brigadier Barnabas Kili.
Right. I've heard of him.
He was the Minister of Education for a long time. He was an educated man. He was a brigadier in the army, but educated. And he managed that education for a long time in a nice way. The education of Uganda. Boy, we used to drink milk at break time. Can you imagine that?
We don't have
in
we
Uganda.
I think that's no longer existing. Apart from
Of course, of course. Now, during Obori's time, there was a man called Professor Ojok. Yeah, I think it was Professor Ojok. Small man with glasses. I think he died. Very nice. A professor in charge of education. You get it?
Right.
Now, here is Mr. Museveni. In the beginning, he did well, by the way. I was there, I saw it. He had substantive people in government. But after Tubejeko, there's something they call Tubejeko, most of you don't know it. It was, the Tubejeko campaign was 2001, right, when he said he now doesn't want any Chisanja. He wants to rule on every 5 years to be eligible to be voted. And the late Kategaya and this Dr. Besije and other people said, no, it's not what we fought for. Then Museveni started the campaign inside the NRM called Tubejeko. Those who don't want what I'm saying, right, they should go to Tubejeko. You get it?
Right.
And that's what happened. They chased them out. Now, from that time onwards, Mr. Museveni started one-man rule. That's when he hijacked the state for real to work for his private interest. And he started doing funny things. He got his wife to be the Minister of Education. Man, this lady is very decent.
She has access to resources.
No, yeah, but I'm saying she's a very decent woman. Looks very nice. She's very respectable. But for all intents and purposes, her thing is not good for education. You can't give the Minister of Education to a decent, modest lady like Mrs. Museveni. Ministry of Education? So now you see where education has gone?
Going up, right.
Down. Because she can't manage. People want to ask her questions, they say, ask in advance. Send the questions in advance. So that she can do homework on the questions at home. She's a decent lady, modest. She can't keep up with the education. It's heavy.
Right.
But Mr. Museveni has an interest. Why he gave her this ministry? To see it going down. Then you ask yourself, does this man love Uganda or no?
But yeah, I want to take you back to the question that I asked you about the mission. What is the mission of the struggle, and what? So I want to ask you
exactly
what are the means that can be done to make sure that this mission is achieved? Yeah,
I was still explaining. Actually, the mission of the struggle is to capture the state from the few people, so that it can now serve the public. Let's get the state back to serve the public. That's the mission. But the means of getting the state depend on the behavior of the people who hijacked the state. If those people are thugs, if those people behave forcefully in a manner which implies that they never want to go, because that's what they are doing.
Right.
Your means have to be appropriate. And I want to be understood here very clearly.
Sure.
The behavior of the people who have the state is such that a piece of paper cannot take me from power. Isn't that what they say? And you saw it happen. Mr. Kyagulanyi with his people power, they won and everything. And Museveni just cancelled out everything and issued new results.
Right.
So a piece of paper cannot take him from what? From power. Number two, when you want to compete with him in a democracy, like competition is allowed in a democracy, he doesn't call you a competitor. He calls you an enemy. What do you do to an enemy? You kill the enemy.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So when you listen to these things, very contradictory terminologies which imply that someone does not really want to get out of power. He's forcefully there. You can't say, I am here standing for peace, I am very peaceful, and you think you're going to win. No. You have to find means which are appropriate to the stance or the behavior of that person who is holding the power.
Thank you. You've mentioned about the establishments that are already in the country, and at least as the world knows, not just Ugandans, but technically the entire world knows that follows politics in Uganda, to be specific, that the country is led by the military regime, and this establishment is so strong to be broken up. So do you really feel like the NUP, the People Power Movement, has the capacity to deal with this military establishment that has been there for more than 30 years going forward?
You see, I want to differentiate here between People Power and NUP. NUP is a political party. People Power was forced to become a political party. When you become a political party, you have been tricked. You are now in the system. If you lose, you go to court. When you win, you go to parliament. They give you 5 million, you eat, you buy a car. After 5 years, you come back, you campaign. You win something, you get money, you buy another car. It becomes a cycle. You become part of the game. That is the politician. The activist in People Power does not like that. There's a dichotomy now. Now, if you transition from an activist to a politician, you'd have fallen in a bad trap. Even if, so those who are in NUP should know that even if they came into NUP because of some trickery, while in NUP they should still behave like
the war before doing that, people
like activists. Yes, because they are in parliament or they are wherever they are on a code of the revolutionary expectations of the people who voted them. So they shouldn't forget that. And that's why you see the People Power members in exile who have more latitude and are not trapped by political vehicles like NUP,
Right.
they will be more fierce. They will be more fierce. Those ones have the wherewithal.
Right.
Those who are outside, because they have no restriction, those are going to beat those guys.
And do you see that happening?
Definitely. Why not? Definitely. But the issue I want to re-emphasize is the matter of change of government in Uganda is a unitary affair. Because the suffering, the paucity, the problems which are there facing everybody, they have no color. There are people in NRM who are suffering a lot, in UPDF suffering. You see, if a car knocks you, it doesn't ask first, are you UPDF? Are you Munyankore? Are you Musamia? It will just knock you.
Right.
Then you realize you have no hospital. Then it becomes a unitary thing. Mr. Museveni's own sister with his nephew, they got an accident some years back. That boy called Edgar Gaba, God bless his soul, his brain got swollen. And because the president's sister knows a little about science, he said this guy should go to the hospital first because the people came to help. He said, no, take this one, he's badly off. Which means the doctors, if there were doctors in a competent hospital, they would have saved his life.
Correct.
But there was incompetence there. This lady would have died too. She was bleeding. Then they sent the helicopter to come and pick her. Helicopter, it is not even equipped for medevac. It's not. Someone can still die in that helicopter. Right. It's not medevac. See? But this accident, did it look to say, is this Museveni's sister or not? It just happened.
Right.
Bad roads. The car was jumping everywhere. Bad roads. People would have died. So, the brand that I want to postulate here, the brand of revolutionary brand that I want to postulate here, is a brand of unity. For all Ugandans who are suffering to come together and know that they are one.
Yeah, but
not this brand of pulling people down, people power insulting another one, messages people are insulting Kyagulanyi, then another radio in London they are insulting Kyagulanyi. That's not good.
That's the question actually from there is, this has been the cry for many activists here in the United States and around the world. At least I've talked to many of them, I've interviewed a number of them, and they are always talking about unity. What is stopping this unity from happening?
You know, because people talk too much. Ugandans talk too much. So now, a few good men and women probably soon may start real resistance, speaking the language of the oppressor. When that happens, unity will come. Because everybody will be like, who has done that? Who has done that? Even the white people will say, but we thought the other man was our military strategist in the region.
Right.
Who has beat him? And I'm BH Konde. People will wake up, they start, who is this? What is that? Then unity will start to happen.
There are a number of military debates that are happening in Africa, military coups that are happening, and the country, President Museveni has been so bad and mad against them. He's saying this is not the way forward. But we should also remember that President Museveni gained power out of, in one or the other, kind of like a military coup. He used force to gain power, and today he says you cannot gain power out of using military force.
He has feared.
What do you see happening?
The man is quaking. He saw the boys, what they did in Guinea, is quaking in his pants.
Right.
Because this will happen. The military, I come from a school of thought which says the military is a modernizing agent in politics.
Right.
It is just that the military of Uganda is constipated. It has some bad elements, but those need to be weeded out. If the good forces, progressive forces in the military, can work with the good forces among civilians, good things will happen. One of them will have to find each other. Back channels will have to be created.
Right.
That's the role of diplomats. They create back channels. So, back channels between the civilian and the army.
Right.
Once we achieve that one, good things will happen.
There'll be change.
Of course.
Martin, we want to thank you so much. But to all our viewers, we want to thank you. This is AITV Go There, where we go and reach out to different smart people to come and discuss on a number of key things. Martin, my last question to you is, you mentioned about cloud, common liege of Ugandans in the diaspora.
Yes.
Now, you are the president. Is it still active or?
Oh, it's very active.
Right.
That's what I told you, that we do a lot of relations with the foreign friends. And when you go to Washington now, they know about cloud a lot. Amongst the executive, in Congress, everywhere, the organizations, they know about cloud a lot. Yes.
Last question. Honorable Kyagulanyi missed the flight to come here, and is to.
He has legitimacy.
Right.
And this legitimacy is when the people confer. That legitimacy, you cannot put a dollar figure on it. Mr. Kyagulanyi has it. Have you gone to Rubaga in the cathedral and you see the saints on the wall?
Right.
They have something around their heads. It's called a halo. Mr. Kyagulanyi has that halo on his head. So when he appears amongst people, he's young. But you see, even us who are a lot older, I am almost 15, 16 years older than him. But we also respect him. Right. We have ideas, we have a lot of things we do, but we respect him. So when he comes, he will definitely be a big influence on the seriousness of the diaspora. Of course, people are starting to have a few questions about the means. The means.
Right.
Because they are telling him, Mundugu, you're fighting a man with a biso.
Right.
And you are saying you are waving a white flag. What's going on here? But that's what he has to do if he has to survive in Uganda. I don't know why people want to harass Kyagulanyi. What else can he do? He lives in Uganda.
Right.
You people who are abroad, you are telling him to become
more aggressive,
vigilant.
Right.
Who is going to go in the drone to be beaten? It is Kyagulanyi. What do you want him to be beaten up? Please have some mercy on me.
All right. Martin cannot go away from here. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching AITV Go There. We will be discussing more about these questions and answers. We will be going there to talk to different individuals, people with the like minds of Martin R. Byakuleka and the others who really think that politics in Africa can change and should be changed by you African people, or even the international community giving a hand. For now, my name is David Ogura, and I thank you for watching AITV. Go there. See you next time. Hello, and thank you for joining me. We are live from AITV 1-on-1 with one of the key political analysts.
Ensonga muziwulidde muzirabye bulungi omukulu Martin Byakuleka ng'azinnyonnyola era ng'awa amagezi ku bice birina okukolebwa okulaba nga struggle yaffe ewangulwa, okulaba nga Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Robert Bobi Wine alabwa mu State House Entebbe, okulaba nga gavumenti ya Museveni egwa n'agenderwa n'alunda ente ze n'abeera n'abazzukulu be. Musajja mukulu muwiwamagezi, mugezi bulungi era bigambo obiwulidde engeri gy'adde abisengekamu, n'olwekyo osaanira okuddamu okubiwuliriza obanga waliwo otategedde bulungi ofune ky'abadde ayogera era ng'ebigambo bino bigenda ddala kineeyo mu kulembeza w'eggwanga Uganda ku ki ekirina okukolebwa ekituufu mu butuufu bwakyo. Era agambye nti mukomye okuteeka Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Robert Bobi Wine ku pressure nga mumugamba mbu ate kola kino, ate gula emmundu, ate kwata ekibiso, ate kwata ebijambiya, nti mwagala kumuleetera buzibu. Bw'anaakola ebyo mupozi mwagala kumulaba nga ate bamukubye ebyasi misana tukunga ensi eraba. N'olwekyo ekyakola bw'ati balina okukikola, balina okukizannya okusigala nga mulamu ate asobole okutuukiriza ebigendererwa byammwe n'okulaba ku Uganda empya gye mwetaaga, gye mutandira mwenna bannayuganda gye muli. Emboozi ebadde ennyuvu era emboozi ewoomye, emboozi ebadde ensufu ya mukulu Martin Byakuleka okusinziira ali mu ggwanga lya America era nga munnankyukakyuka wa People Power wa NUP ate muwiwamagezi eri abakulembeze mu kino kya National Unity Platform. Mwamulabye ne jjujjuzi wano omukulembeze wadde mu ggwanga lya America mu convention yavuddeyo naawe era obubaka bwe ngera obuli ebubaka bwa gunna nga bulimu ekigambo ekiwerera ddala era ekigambo ekyongera okugattako ettoffaali ku nkyukakyuka na biki bye tulina okukola, na biki bye tulina okutambuza, engeri gye tulina okutambuzaamu struggle eno okulaba nga tugituusa ku ntikko erina okutuuka. Kale olunaku lwetwo lutambudde ne mukulu Byakuleka tusiimye nnyo byonna byatuwadde, nammwe mbasiima nnyo abalabi era abagoberezi baffe mwebale okutulabanga, naffe tweyama nti tujja kubaawo nga tubibawa musobole okumanya biki ebigenda mu maaso mu nsi yaffe na buli kimu tutambule nga tukimanyi era tumanye biki bye tulina okukola na biki bye tutalina kukola kulw'okugenda mu maaso ne struggle yaffe era okugiwangula tuveeyo nga tuli bawanguzi. Tulabe ku Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Robert Bobi Wine ng'atudde Entebbe mu ntebe nga tumanye Museveni naye ali lwaki tula alunda ente ze mu Uganda empya, naye alabe ku Uganda bwe kufugibwa abaana ab'omulembe omuto ogwa 21st century. Mbaagala nnyo, Omukama nsaba bankuumire, tujja kuddamu tuwaye, mweraba.